Hi guys, my name is Rudo Kwanoya and welcome to my little space on the internet where I share my life experiences and hopefully you can learn or get one or two things from it. Now, if you haven't already subscribed, please make sure that you do and click the bell to get notified. I've been away from YouTube for a very long time and so the algorithm is punishing me. So to help me along guys, please make sure that you share, you comment, you like so that there can be more engagement to my videos and they can reach out to more people. So today we are continuing with the property series and we're going to talk about the mortgage process, from what is a mortgage to the entire step-by-step process until you have secured one. Keep watching. We will start with answering the question, what is a mortgage? And whilst some of you may already know, a mortgage is a loan that you get from a bank or a different lender because it might be from a building society so that you can use the money to buy a house. So usually it is equal to the value of a house, and the terms of a mortgage can vary from like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and even 35 to 40 years depending on where you are. And because of that, it is a very big commitment, which is why it is very important for you to try and cover your bases before you enter into such a long-term commitment. So let's get right into it. The first step is building your credit score. There are a lot of apps that are free that can be used to check your credit score, and I use Experian and Credit Karma. And as I am an immigrant who came to the UK in 2021, I did not have any credit history, and so it is very important that the moment you get to the UK, you start building your credit. And once you have a good credit score, it will help you to actually get the mortgage and also get a very good and better rate. So just on that note, I'm just going to share with you 3 top things that I think are very important or are very useful in building your credit score, especially as an immigrant. The first thing is totally free. Get on the electoral roll, so registering to vote as we call it. You just go on the internet and you register. Do it early wherever you stay. I had to do it in a rush because I wanted to boost my score when we're applying for the mortgage, so don't be like me. The second thing that you can do is pay bills in your own name. That's another mistake that I made because when I came, I was living in a house share. My bills were paid by my landlord and nothing was in my name. Another thing that you can do, so if you can pay something, it can be council tax, it can be rates, it can be water, just pay something in your own name so that it's debited on your statement and it can show a trail of you being responsible for something. The third thing is get a credit card, like a build-up credit card. There are some credit cards that you can get before you've got like a very good credit score, like I got American Express. Just a piece of advice, when you get a credit card, don't buy massive things, don't buy too many things, just buy small things so that you can show a pattern of buying and paying back stuff on your credit. So those are my 3 tips to build your credit score. The next step that we can talk about is figure out your budget. So depending on where you have decided to buy your house, if you watched my first video on this, I was just talking about how it is important to figure out the location, right, in terms of the city and all that. So once you know where you want, that will influence the budget. So for example, if your budget is 300,000 or 350,000, then you know you need 5-10% or even more than that, for your deposit. How much is that going to be? So that's 30,000, for example, if it is 10%. And then are there some deposit booster schemes? So some new build developers who offer to pay 5% of the deposit for you. So is that something that you're willing to do? Or do you want to pay way more deposit so that you pay less monthly? Again, that's something that you're looking at. Okay, and then you say, yeah, I've got my budget there. And then you budget for other things as well, like stamp duty, which is for after if it's your first house, so over 250,000 of it, you're going to pay some stamp duty on it. Legal fees, if you're using a mortgage broker, they can ask for a fee as well. Any other fee as well that you might need, you budget for it as well. And then you can also make use of those affordability calculators. Like on Experian as well, there's an option where you can just calculate, okay, so for example, if you're saying you are buying a 300,000 pound house or apartment or flat, and then you're going to pay deposit for 30,000, that leaves you 270,000. That's the loan you're going to get from the bank. So given the interest rates, how much are you going to pay per month? Do you afford to pay that? So the next step is considering a mortgage broker. The advantage is that it saves you time. I give my experience as an immigrant because that's what I've experienced, and there are banks who actually do not give mortgages to people on a visa. So we called a bank and then they said, no, actually we can't give you. And then some were saying, no, we need deposit of at least 25%. So a mortgage broker can help you sift through that and then give you the ones that you actually will accept you and your situation. On the downside, they'll most probably want a commission. So ask that upfront, how much do you want me to pay you? And then you can actually compare. Some would definitely be more expensive than others. And then because mortgage brokers also get a commission from the banks when you close the deal, you also just need to be mindful of that as well. If they are pushing for something that maybe you're not really comfortable with, just stand your ground. So the next thing that you need to get is a mortgage in principle. When you then call and start doing the actual house hunting, estate agents usually will ask you for a mortgage in principle. There are some quick ones that you get online. I would advise you not to use those because that is not like a hard search, and they won't have some certain details, and they'll assume, for example, that you're a citizen, and so certain things will be available for you and to you. So a mortgage broker, like I said, will help you to actually sift through the number of different lenders and give you a mortgage in principle, which if you actually then go the next day and apply for the mortgage, you will get. There is no use to get something just for house hunting purposes. In terms of what it actually looks like, it's a document from a bank, building society, or mortgage provider, which basically states that they can give you a mortgage of this amount. So for example, if they say that they can give you a mortgage of 600,000, you don't necessarily have to apply for a 600,000 pound mortgage. You don't need to get to your maximum. It's advisable to maybe do half or 3/4 of the amount so that you stay within your budget. Again, don't be pressured into something that you don't need, because sometimes you might be having your budget, maybe you are budgeting for 350 or 400 or 450, and then your mortgage in principle says, actually we can give you 800,000. Then you're like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna get a bigger house. It's not free, it's a loan, and you're going to have to pay. So the next step is to gather your documents. So you need to have your visa in place, your passport in place, bank statements need to be clean need to have all your money coming in, your coming ins and goings you should be able to explain them. Your proof of income, so your contracts, your pay slips. If you're self-employed, you should have some accounts to prove the ins and outs of the money, and then the proof of deposit, so the actual money that you have readily available to say this is my deposit. So the next step is to choose the right mortgage. So that is the interest. So there's a fixed interest rate, which means, for example, if it's 5%, it's 5% interest, no matter what the economy is like or what the Bank of England interest rate is, it's going to remain at 5%. When we got our mortgage, I think the rates were around 5%. They've since gone a bit lower, but we chose the fix so that you can plan better and we're not affected by rate fluctuations. The alternative is a variable rate, where it changes with whatever is happening. The advantage is that if, for example, it changes and it goes down, that'll be a benefit for you. But downside, it is you can't really plan. If things go like up and everything, unstable environment, then you can suffer. So it is worth just considering. We got fixed for 5 years just so that we've got this stability and we can plan around our first 5 years, but it is really up to you. Then you can get like for 2 years, 3 years, your mortgage broker again will advise you. The next thing is the actual length of the mortgage. Again, the longer it is, the less payments that you make monthly, but the more that you pay over time, because you're paying interest for all those years, right? So that's something that you have to consider within your budget. So if you're saying you can pay 1,500 towards your mortgage each month, or 2,000 towards your mortgage each month, then you can say, okay, maybe so I can do it over 20 years, I can do it over 30 years, and then see what works. And then I already spoke about the interest rate. So interest rate will affect how much you pay. And another thing is the first payment is usually higher because it will include some of the dates that maybe, let's say, if you move in on the 18th or the 19th, it will include those first 10 days of the month and the other month. So it can be a painful payment, but yeah, hopefully it will be for your investment and you'll feel that it's worth it. The last step is to apply and to wait, which can be, a little stressful. But if you've already gone through all this and you get a mortgage in principle, particularly from a reputable broker, then there are higher chances that you might get it. And I think our wait time was like a week or so, and then we got it. And yeah, you can celebrate and start planning your move. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you give me all the love, subscribe, watch, and do all the nice things so that my video can reach other people as well. Until next time, bye bye.